Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Lovely Freaks podcast. I'm your host, Amanda.
And I'm Hannah.
And if you're new here, hi, welcome. If you like true crime and all things strange and unusual, you can go ahead and hit that subscribe or follow button. You can also head on down to the description box, and you'll see a link that will take you to our Linktree, and you can find our social media, Instagram, Facebook, all that jazz.
And all that jazz.
All right, so right off the bat, I want to tell you guys that this Friday, March 27th, we're going to have a live Q&A session on our Instagram. So if you aren't following us, you should go do that. And then you can see us Friday on Instagram. And then, we'll answer all you guys' questions and all that. Today, we're going to be... this might be a two-part. I hope that it will. I'm going to try to get it into a two-part. But if not, we'll have something for y'all Friday. But this should be a two-parter.
Because this is going to be a serial killer. So
yeah,
it's probably going to be a
killer
two-parter, if I had to guess.
Yeah, there's not a lot about him, but there's a lot to talk about. So, a lot of people don't know who this guy is. If you do, that's great. But if you don't, you're going to learn today. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I wanted to say
Friday.
Thanks to everybody that...
We mentioned that. 27th.
Huh?
Is it going to be the 27th? Friday, 27th.
Yeah.
27th.
That's not what I was talking about.
I know, but I was trying to think of the date if you mentioned the date.
Yeah. The 27th. I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who has liked our stuff so far and all that. We're super happy and it's awesome. And so, yeah, we're going to get started. So today we're going to be talking about Israel Keyes. And I'm just going to dive into his background and all that. Mm-hmm. He was could be one of the most prolific serial killers in history. I'm not going to say that he has 37 confirmed, because he doesn't have 37 confirmed victims. I was about to say appointments. I don't know what the fuck.
I will kill you on this date.
I don't know where that was going. But anyways, 37 victims, but they think that it might be close to that range.
That's a lot.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of him?
Mm-mm.
No?
Probably haven't.
Okay. So we're going to start with his childhood, like normal, like we always do. So Israel Keyes was born January 7th, 1978. He grew up in a large Mormon family who they denounced the Mormon faith at one point, and they turned to radical fundamentalist Christianity, which I didn't really know what that meant, so I had to kind of look that up. And it's kind of like white supremacists and stuff like that. Yeah. So, yeah, awesome.
Yummy.
He was the second of 10 children, but some reports said that he only had 4 sisters, so I'm not sure if some of those kids died or if they were not. I don't know. It was weird.
People.
Yeah, it was really strange. His mother's name was Heidi, and his father's name was John. Keyes was a toddler when his family left Utah for Washington. They lived in an isolation in the woods, kind of, where Keyes grew up without heat or electricity. So, yeah, they kind of grew up off the grid.
Yeah, roughed it up.
Roughed it up. At the same time that they converted from being Mormons to the radical Christians, their family attended service at 2 churches which practiced the white supremacy like I told you about. Mm-hmm. So it was kind of like the ideology of this church. So apparently his parents were super racist. Awesome.
Oh, yay.
Yeah.
Of course, probably.
When they lived there, though, he befriended one of the neighbors, and kind of his mom and dad were like friends with the neighbors too. And they were like really big white supremacists, and the one that he befriended was also a convicted murderer. So, that's always a great idol to have. Keyes renounced the Christian faith by the time he was a teenager, and he eventually became interested in Satanism. He grew up, and Israel would break into like houses and homes. He would steal guns. He loved to hunt.
That was really quick. I just have to mention that, like, all of a sudden he's like all this Christian, and then all of a sudden I'm a Satanism. Like,
Well, yeah, like
whoa.
he denounced it when he was like a preteen, I guess you could say. And I don't really know why, but it did. There wasn't a whole lot about his background, but like I said, when he became a teenager, he started breaking into houses, and he liked to start fires. So that's always great. It's the making of an arson, and he also liked to torture animals. So yeah. So spoiler alert: he gets caught, obviously. And he pretty much tells everything that I'm going to tell you guys today comes straight from from him. So this is what he tells while he's in custody.
Police officers?
Yeah. He says that I've known since I was 14 that there were things that I thought were normal and that were okay, quotation marks, that nobody else seemed to think were normal and okay. End quote.
Did he have any kind of head energy? Head
energy?
What was that? Okay, not head energy. Head injury. I don't know why I said
he
energy.
had a lot of head energy.
Did he have any head energy? No, and
his chakra was completely aligned. He had no
you don't
head
know?
injury. No, I don't know.
I
don't think so. So when he told his family he denounced his faith, his father cut all ties with him. He did stay in contact with his mother, though. Israel told police his first planned attack was in Oregon in either 1997 or 1998. Not sure which year. He abducted a teenage girl and then raped her, but he did let her go. His intent was to murder her, but she convinced him, to leave her. He said, quote, I wasn't violent enough, end quote. So basically, he wasn't violent enough at the time to commit the murder that he wanted to. So sad for you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just wasn't violent enough.
He told investigators of the crime, he said, quote, I made up my mind I was never going to let that happen again, end quote. So from that point on, when he started murdering after that, he knew that he was never going to let anybody go, basically. And he didn't ever after that. In July 1998, Israel joined the army, which is so weird to me that there's so many people. There's a lot of serial killers in general that have joined the military.
I think it's like an obvious situation because you literally get to kill someone and get paid to do it.
Yeah, but I'm an army wife, and I know plenty of guys that
but back then they probably saw a lot of it.
Yeah, especially I guess
with Iraq
earlier,
and then also
yeah.
Oh fuck, I'm thinking about the 2000s and then back in the 80s.
Yeah.
I don't know, when was this? When did you say this was?
1998.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it was in 1998.
Okay.
When he joined the army, and then like I said, 97 or 98 when he must have kidnapped that girl and raped her right before he joined the army or right during. I don't know. So he did well as a soldier, though. His fellow soldiers would say that he was very quiet, but he drank a lot, quite heavily. He spent time in Egypt, Fort Hood, and then Fort Lewis in Washington. After his honorable discharge in July 2001, he lived on the McKay Reservation. I believe that was in Washington, with the mother of his daughter. So his daughter was born in 2001. So yeah, he had a daughter, which is crazy to me.
Have a family life. I don't understand how
they can juggle all that.
Yeah, they can juggle all that.
Because this dude meticulously planned this shit out. So
the thing is
I don't get it. I don't understand.
I can't even think about murdering someone because I'm thinking this is the first thing that pops in my head. Oh, that would be too much.
Like, that's the first thing that pops into your...
But that would be too much effort. Like, I would have to do so much.
I could kill this guy, but
then I'd have to hide the body.
Fuck, I'd have to get off my ass.
Clean up the blood. Like, that's just too much to do. Like, I don't understand how people can juggle a family life and do all that. Yeah. Like, okay, well.
On the reservation that he lived on, he actually worked closely with the tribal authorities. And later on, someone that he worked with, she was a private... I don't know if she was a private investigator or an investigator, but she was also like a novelist or whatever, and she knew Israel Keyes, and she would say, like, she never thought that this was a guy that could have done what he did.
Yeah. Stuff like that?
Yeah, kind of like, no one ever thought that Ted Bundy or...
Well, yeah, you never think anybody can do something.
Yeah.
Until they do it.
He claimed that in 2001... that was when he committed his first murder while living in Washington. He said he was just bored because it was a boring town.
Wow.
Yeah. Just bored. He also told police he committed 4 murders while living there. When Israel gets caught, he is the only one that can tell police about these killings because most of these people are like missing persons. Mm-hmm. So none of these people have officially been labeled as like dead.
Yeah.
They're all just missing persons. Even all those 30 something that I said he could have possibly killed, they're still just missing persons to this day. There are 4 confirmed killings of his, 11 that are kind of like maybes, and like I said, 37 altogether that police are kind of wondering if he did or didn't. And I'll explain all that. I gotta turn this fan off.
Sorry if y'all can hear that. There's a fan on.
It keeps knocking. I turned it on because she was burning up, but I gotta turn it off.
It's fine.
So there just wasn't enough to pin him on, and there wasn't enough time, and we'll get into that as well, because you're probably sitting there thinking, enough time? What? So, anyways, I'll explain.
Okay.
So in 2007, Keyes finally moves to Alaska to live with a nurse practitioner that he was dating. So he stopped being with his baby's mama, and he moved there. And he also took his daughter with him. I don't know if he got custody or... I couldn't really figure that out. I guess he had custody. Before 2012, Israel Keyes was not on police's radar at all. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the murder that landed him in prison, or in jail, because no one knew who the hell this guy was or anything about his murdering spree until he got caught. That the only way they found out he was a murderer is when he got caught for this, and then he starts confessing. Yeah.
Sorry, I had to yawn. Because they were just missing people?
Yeah.
So they didn't find the bodies or anything like that?
No.
Oh.
And we'll get to there.
Okay.
So before 2012, like I said, no one knew who Israel was. Now, one evening, February 1st, 2012 to be exact, a young man was on his way to pick up his girlfriend named Samantha Coinage. I think it's Coinage. Mm-hmm. From her work. She worked at a coffee shop, and this was like a little local coffee shop, like off the road. It was like a coffee stand, kind of like Mocha Mugs, it just had one or two people working in there. She was the only one working in there that night. Her boyfriend noticed that Samantha wasn't inside her work. However, all the lights are on, and it looks as though someone has walked, it looks as though she just walked away, because all the lights are still on.
Yeah.
The door's unlocked. And it's just like, okay, where did she go?
Yeah.
He then received, while there, he had been there for a little bit, and while he was there, he received a text message, and the text was from Samantha, and it said, "I know what you did. I'm mad. You mother effer," or something like that. She said, "and I am going to stay with some friends. Tell my dad." See, her and her boyfriend had a fight the night before. And Israel could see that they had been fighting through the messages, so he kind of used that to his advantage.
Oh, okay.
But it was still really odd. They had been together for almost a year, and her boyfriend knew that she wasn't someone that would just leave abruptly. And she especially wouldn't, like, leave without clothes or anything like that.
Yeah, I think that's really weird that somebody could just, like, leave like that. That's still weird, even if you don't know the person that well.
Yeah. So he goes to Samantha's father, her boyfriend, and Samantha's father reports her missing that night. They contact police, and then, so the owner of the coffee shop says, hey, I've got a surveillance camera. Do you guys want to look at it? And they were like, sure. So on the surveillance video, you see that she's at the coffee shop and she's working, and then you see a customer walk up. You can't see the customer's face, unfortunately, but you do see that somebody walks up to the counter because she's obviously talking to someone. She gets the customer the coffee, and then the customer obviously kind of like points to something behind her because she turns around and looks at whatever's behind her. Then when she turns back around to where the customer is, she kind of like backs up and like kind of jumps back, and then she puts her and then she puts her hands up. So obviously, you know.
Yeah, he definitely pulled out a gun.
He pulled a gun on her.
So then, did he tell her like get in the car or something after that?
Well, there's no sound on the surveillance video.
Oh, so like she just kind of disappears.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Okay.
So then after she kind of like turns some of the lights off. She didn't turn them all off, but she turns some of them off. She gets money out of the cash register, hands it to him. And whoever is on the other side crawls through the counter, like, you know, because it's a counter you can crawl through. He crawls through. He's wearing a ski mask, unfortunately, so we don't get to see his face. He tells her to lay on the floor, face down, and then he ties her hands behind her back. So we don't know, you know, what his face looks like. And obviously you can't hear his voice because it's no sound. After that, they walk out the door. She unlocks it. They walk out the door and they kind of walk off. The surveillance video shows them walking off because it's kind of, and the camera's like out of sight from where they're going. Israel said, though, he told police that at this point Samantha was trying to get away. She actually broke free at one point and was running and screaming for help. No one heard her. And there were kind of places all around. There was like an IHOP and some other like restaurants, but nobody was outside, unfortunately, at the time. Israel then tackled her to the ground and put her in his truck. Yeah.
So, wow. Nobody was around.
Sucks. He did it late at night, so that way, not late at night, but you know, it was the only coffee shop that was open late.
Yeah.
So he did it then because there wasn't a lot of people.
Yeah.
Excuse me. After her abduction, the case grew the attention of the FBI. Of course, they started combing through her social media, computer records to see if there is anything or anyone who looks suspicious. As I said before, her and her boyfriend had a fight the night before that she was abducted. And Israel says later, he could tell, you know, that they had a fight. So he was kind of using that to his advantage. And he wanted to try to pin it on the boyfriend because he sent him another text later that night, or it was the next day, saying, just F you. That was all the text said. And so, or fuck you, whatever.
Yeah.
So that was all the text said. So it was kind of like he was making it appear like, you know, maybe the boyfriend has her phone and he's the one that kidnapped her because they got into this huge fight. However, the boyfriend and any other people that she was like family and stuff like that, they were kind of, the police looked at them, but they didn't find any evidence that they would.
Did the boy have an alibi?
Yeah.
Okay.
They had alibis. Jeez.
Yeah.
Plus, none of them kind of matched the build of the person in the surveillance video either. So
yeah, and then why also wouldn't she greet? If it was her boyfriend, why wouldn't she, like, come around the corner and be like, hey, baby?
Exactly, yeah.
Or be mad when he walked through, like, what do you want? Why are you here?
Yeah.
She wouldn't be, like, greeting him like he's a customer.
Yeah. So, the case is starting to go cold for about 2 weeks. They don't really find any evidence. They don't really, can't really figure out anything. Her boyfriend then receives a text, and this is a weird text, so I'll explain kind of what it means. But it says, quote, Connor Park, sign, underpick, of Albert H.E. Purdy. So they go to Connor Park. The FBI go to the park. And under a picture of a missing dog, Albert, is a Ziploc bag pinned to the tree. In the Ziploc bag, they find a picture of Samantha with what appears to be her holding the newspaper of the day's date. So it has the date of today, or that day, on it. So it could show, like, yeah, she's still alive.
Yeah.
She's holding the newspaper. Also, there was a ransom note, and in the ransom note, the perpetrator wanted $30,000, and he wanted the $30,000 to be deposited into Samantha's account, whoever it was, and was going to take her card, or possibly her, to go get the money, like, go get it out.
Yeah.
That's
So
kind of
this
what
was going to be a ransom.
Yeah. Ow, my leg. That's kind of what the FBI was thinking anyways. So the family pulled together all their money in their bank accounts, and I think they even had, like, some of the neighbors help them or whatever, and they made a deal with the bank that, hey, whenever you see someone that has pulled out a large amount of money, and I think you'd only pull out like $500 at a time, but when you see someone pull out the limit, let us know. Like,
Yeah.
you know, give us a phone call.
Well, why didn't they, like, if they know if he said he was going to do it at her bank account, why didn't they, well, I guess, why didn't they wait?
I know what you meant.
Yeah. Like,
So
is he going to go get the money?
he's going to pull it out of ATMs. So that could be anywhere. That could be an ATM at a gas station.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, anywhere. It doesn't really matter. And the bad part about it is every time he went to the ATM, he was wearing a ski mask. And we'll kind of get to that part as well.
Yeah, because they probably had video, right?
What?
If they have video in the ATM, do they have videos in the ATM?
Yeah, they have video. That's what I said.
Yeah. So then you said there was going to be a ski mask, so don't.
Yeah, he's going to have a ski mask. So it doesn't happen immediately, but the next, like, 2 days, it's like 2 days that he waits, and then they start getting pings all over the place. Like I said, they're all in Alaska, but all the police officers can't be in all these spots at once. So they're, like, getting a ping. The bank calls them up. It's like, hey, we got one. And it could be, like, 5 minutes down the road, but it only takes that person 10 seconds to get the money, hop in the car, and leave.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to get it. And unfortunately, whoever was in the car, there wasn't, like, he always parked his car where the cameras couldn't see. So you couldn't see the car, because that would have been really great if you could see the car and the license.
I was about to say, if he pulled up and see the car, but man, he was thinking of everything.
Yeah. Well,
Something.
Okay. I'll get there. So on March 7th, things got a little weird with the ATM pings. There is an ATM transaction that is all the way in Wilcox, Arizona. So it goes from Alaska to Arizona. Then they get another one in New Mexico. Then by March 10th, there's 2 different hits on her card coming from 2 different locations in Texas. Hold on.
That's really...
Man.
That's a lot of places.
Travel? Yeah.
Yeah. Very fast.
So it seems like to the FBI that they are making their way east, like kind of through the U.S.
Yeah.
It kind of seems like that's what they're doing. Or this person, whoever it is, you know?
And also, if you're going to kidnap somebody, is he, like, keeping him in the car? Keeping her in the car?
Yeah, we don't
while
know
he's
at this
driving?
point. Yeah. So, yeah, he, what was the last thing you asked? I had to pause because the dog wouldn't quit whining.
Like, is he taking her?
Oh, yeah, we don't know.
You don't know.
Or they don't know at the time.
Or did he just kill her?
Yeah.
Like...
So, they finally notice that when he's in Texas, they notice that this person is getting into a white Ford Focus. So, boom, they're able to put out an APB on this car, the make and the model. Mm-hmm. And finally, the police in Texas pull over someone for a traffic they saw the the police officer saw this description of the car, but he had to wait till he made like a traffic violation to pull him over.
Oh, okay.
And he gets pulled over because he, what was it?
Didn't put on his turning
No,
signal?
I think it was speeding. It was kind of like a Ted Bundy situation.
Okay.
You know, he got pulled over for like speeding or something like that, like a dumbass. You have whatever.
You murder people. You know, let's go safe, okay?
Let's go the speed limit. Matter of fact, go 5 miles under. Anyways, so when they pull him over, he hands them their license, and they see that it's Israel Keys, and Samantha's license is in the car, her bank card, and other items that are hers as well. So they've got him. Israel later actually said that he had a gun in the trunk, and if he could have gotten to his gun, he was going to start like opening fire on the police officers because he wanted to go out in like a blaze of glory. Ugh. Yeah. Like the eye roll. Ugh. Jesus.
Douchebag.
Also, apparently when he was in Texas, he visited some of his family, one of his sisters, and she tried to kind of like get him away from atheism. And Israel said, quote, "You don't know the depths of darkness that I've gone to. You don't know what I've done."
It seems like he's all doing this because he doesn't like the church. Do you think? Because I don't know if it's
like
because
how
of
he
his
grew up?
family. Yeah, because it's not his family. Because it doesn't seem like his family is bad.
Yeah, it could be that.
I mean, I don't know. You didn't put much detail in the family.
Well, there wasn't much to put, but it could be that. I mean, it could be that he doesn't like
the church.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't like a white supremacist church if I grew up in that. So, I mean,
Yeah.
you know, I don't blame him.
But I wouldn't go to this depth.
Yeah.
I'd just move on with my life.
And I
go to
guess
church.
I don't know, it was weird because, I don't know. There's no one really knows why he did it or why he started doing it.
So he never said, like, because my parents treated me this way? Or...
Nope. So he gets arrested and then taken back to Alaska. When in custody, they start asking, like, where's Samantha? He tells them that she's dead. So this is what he tells police happened to Samantha. Hold on. He gets back to his house with her. We know that because he kidnapped her from the coffee shop. So we've made it that far.
Wait, so he's kidnapped right now. Or, sorry, put in custody right now.
Yeah.
Not kidnapped.
Yeah, they kidnapped him.
They
were like,
kidnapped
you know what?
him?
You kidnapped someone, we're going to kidnap you.
They put him in custody.
No, they put him in custody, yeah. So this is what he tells police happened after, we saw the surveillance video, or we know what happened in the surveillance video. So after the surveillance video, this is what he says happens, okay?
Okay.
He gets back to his house. He takes her out to the shed out back. Once there, he gives her a glass of wine, is what he said, to like calm her down, and he has one himself.
Okay.
Like that's really
weird.
Is great. Yeah, it was weird.
Really weird. Let me give you a wine and I'll drink some myself.
Yeah. Then he proceeded to rape her, sexually assault her, and strangle her to death. He then wraps her body up into a tarp and puts her in a cabinet in his shed. Then he goes back inside his house and has dinner with his girlfriend and his daughter. He locks the shed, too. But his girlfriend, never went in the shed, so, Then he gets to... First of all, if my husband ever is like, no, you can't go out in my shed, bitch, I'm going.
Yeah. Why? First of all, you would think there's some kind of cheating going on. I don't know if you know the murder part, but
what you think, but there are no secrets in this house.
Yeah.
So we going in a shed if I gotta knock it down with an axe.
That'd be terrible to be married to someone and then, oh, by the way, I kill people. I would be livid. I would just be like, what?
Yeah. So then after all this, after he eats and everything, he starts packing. And he starts packing for a 2-week cruise that they had to go on the next morning. That's right. The 2 weeks that I told you about where they didn't hear from the kidnapper.
The next morning.
Mm-hmm. And remember those 2 weeks I told you about when the case kind of went still?
Cruise.
Yeah, he was on a cruise. Yeah. So He's a piece of shit. He was just like chilling on a cruise while Samantha's dead body was back in Alaska freezing in a shed. When he gets back home, since, her body's been cold and decomposition hasn't really set in because it's freezing in Alaska, the body's like well preserved. He decides to do the whole ransom thing. So remember the picture I told you about? Well, unfortunately, Samantha was already dead during that picture.
Oh my God, really?
Yep.
So
he sewed her eyes open.
Oh my God.
He then rigged her arm somehow with like ties and tied up her arm somehow where it would show like she was holding the picture. I mean, the newspaper. Like she was holding the newspaper. Yeah. You can see this picture online and I'll show it to you later. But it's pretty.
So was her eyes like super like doll-like open, or was it like she was looking normal?
Yeah, I'll show you.
That's so weird that he like sewed her eyes open.
I probably won't post this on Instagram because it'll probably take it down. However, you guys can look it up for yourselves. But yeah, she's dead in that picture.
Wow.
But she just kind of looks like she's been beaten up though, right? I mean, her lips are a little blue, but yeah. Fucking awful. Don't look it up if you're faint of heart.
Yeah, don't.
He does that. He never had any intentions of letting her go, is what he told the police, which obviously we knew that. After he took the picture, he drove out to a lake, some lake that he usually goes ice fishing at. He put up his little like ice fishing hut, because you know how they like have those that they put over them sometimes. He then dismembered her body and dumped her into the lake. He then said he caught a few fish to cook for dinner that night. He took them back to his family. Cooked them up. Yeah.
He fed his family after all that.
Yeah, he fed them the fish that he caught from dumping her in the lake. Yeah. He told police he has two sides. He has the friendly dad side, and he has the hard-working guy, He's also a contractor. He owns his own contracting business. Yeah.
Just like Jane Wayne.
Jane Wayne.
That's not what I meant. What's his name? God.
John Wayne Gacy. Jane Wayne Gacy. We're on a roll today.
But just like him, he had like a family, didn't he? And he also had a whole business.
Yeah, and he was like a member of he
was like always doing shit and then murdering people. It was like
boys, basically.
Boys, yeah. Like how are you doing this? How?
So that's what he looks like. Just a normal dude.
Yeah, he looks so normal.
Yeah, he does. There's a picture, this picture right here. He's got like a lei on. We'll post this one on Instagram, but he's got like a lei. He's at like a barbecue, like just chilling.
He looks like a goober.
Yeah, he does.
He looked like he would be a super goober.
Yeah, like the nerd.
Go, guys.
Like super nerdville. So, yeah. And I can say that because I'm married to a nerd. And I am one. Currently wearing a alien shirt.
Space.
An alien shirt.
It says I need some space on it.
Yeah. So, anywho, yeah, that's what he told police. And he also he said, once I've picked someone to kill, you're not getting away. There's no way you're going to get away. Police asked him why he picked Samantha, and he said his killings are completely random. Like I told you, he picked her because it was like the only coffee shop that was open late at night. And she was the only one in there, which, come on, people that, make schedules for people. Make sure there's at least 2 or 3 workers at a stand at all times, especially at night.
One person.
Yeah. I'm not blaming the owner of the coffee shop. I'm just saying.
But still, like, a warning. Let's put more people, not just one person.
He also tells Samantha to keep calm, that he's just in it for the money. She actually tells him, like, my parents don't have a lot of money. He's like, oh, that's fine. The community will get together to get the money. And then once I get the money, you can be let go. Another crazy ass thing about this is that he almost got caught. So Samantha left her phone at the coffee shop. He had to go back to the coffee shop to get it. Then she told him that her card was actually like her debit card, because he needed the debit card to like do the money transactions. her card was left in her boyfriend's truck.
Wow.
Well, obviously, he goes and gets the card out of her boyfriend's truck. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Get this. This man goes to her house because her boyfriend's truck was at her house.
How did he know where her boyfriend lived?
I guess she probably told him. I mean, she was still alive at this point, so she
he
probably
asked him.
He's breaking into the truck. Okay, this is the point where he almost gets caught. He's breaking into the truck, going to grab the debit card, and her boyfriend steps out of the house and sees some motherfucker like breaking into his truck. He freaks out and starts chasing this dude down the street, and he gets away. Dead ass.
Wow.
Yeah.
He didn't call the cops or anything?
He did, but I mean, the guy was gone. He didn't see him. He didn't know what he looked like.
Like him
No,
because
it was
car?
dark. No,
Oh.
it was dark, and he ran down the street and probably parked his car way down the street and jumped in it. Sucks, man.
Lucky. He's a lucky bastard.
Yeah, definitely. So he then like takes her debit card to the nearest like ATM to see if she actually was like telling the truth about the transaction. The PIN number. Mm-hmm. And of course she was, because she thought, okay, I'm gonna get let go whenever this is all over with. So yeah. And after this, Israel pretty much tells them like where the body is, and they know, they're like, okay, this is not your first murder. Like, we know this is not your first murder. And Israel tells them, no, it's not. But he wants to strike a deal before he tells them anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's where we're going to end it.
Oh, okay.
So this episode, we're ending there. Sorry, guys. You got to listen to part 2 to see what happens. And
I
you
want to
also
know more.
Yeah.
I was like, no, he murdered 36 people, didn't he?
Yeah. Well,
Or 37?
possibly 4 confirmed for sure. 11, they're like almost positive, but it's not completely confirmed. And then 36, and I'll explain that 36 next episode. So anyways, you guys will have to see the next episode. So if you liked this episode, you can go ahead and leave us a review on Apple. If you're not on Apple, just go ahead and go to our Instagram and like the episode thingy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Or on YouTube.
And then we will have part 2 up for you guys Friday. And also you can listen or watch our live Q&A Friday night. And we'll post all that on our Instagram as well, like what time we're going to get on and all that stuff. It'll probably be, what time do you get off? You get here around 6. So it'll probably be like 7 o'clock or something.
Yeah.
Maybe 8. It just depends on dinner and all that. All right, guys. Well, we'll see you guys next time. Bye.